Fabulous. And now we're recording. Excellent. So I'm Jennifer Wolf, a children's librarian from Beaverton City Library. And this is the second virtual event that Beaverton City Library has hosted, our very large parenting event. So I thank you for your patience and your understanding as we get everything sorted out. A few housekeeping things before we get started. Because there are so many of us coming here tonight and because it's bedtime in our houses, we have you all muted right now. So you can hear us, but we cannot hear you unless we unmute your microphones. So feel free when it's time to sing as loud as you want because only you can hear you. If you have any questions or something to share, please do so in the chat window. Questions and thoughts about the content of tonight's program should be directed towards Kayla. So in your little drop-down menu, it should say Kayla Hughes or Jennifer Wolf. Choose Kayla for content. And if you have questions about the library, this parenting education series, or anything else, you can direct those questions to me, Jennifer Wolf, and just choose Jennifer Wolf in your chat drop-down menu. All right, to introduce Kayla. Kayla Hughes is the director and owner of Music Together Beaverton, an early childhood music and movement program for children ages birth to 7 years, and with their grown-ups who love them. Currently, they're holding classes online. She is a board-certified and licensed music therapist and has used music to assist in everything from speech recovery in stroke patients to improved quality of life with those who have Alzheimer's to turn-taking with preschoolers. She believes that music is a way to relate, communicate, and most importantly, connect with others. On a personal note, when I first visited one of teacher Kayla's Music Together classes, I came out thinking, I want my library story times to feel like that. I've spent the last few years using what she's taught me in my work at the library and in my home with my own child. And I'm excited to learn from her tonight, and I hope you are too. So I'm now presenting Kayla Hughes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Librarian Jennifer.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and start this thing off. Okay. Now, I just want to be, I guess, sure. Are you guys seeing a blue screen that says, hey, what do you say? Good. Awesome. Can we start with a song? Like Jennifer said, sing as loud as you want. You might not know this song, but it's pretty repetitive, so join me when you're ready, okay? Hey, what do you say? Let's all sing a song today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's all tap our knees today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's all wave hello today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's all clap our hands today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's all go like this today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's say hello again today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey, what do you say? Let's all drum around today. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum. All right, thanks for singing with me, you guys. And those of you that I can't see, I trust that you're singing along at home, okay? So thanks. Thank you for being here tonight. I know that even though we didn't get in the car to drive anywhere, you're still taking important time out of your life to learn a little bit. So thank you for being here. Thank you to the library for inviting me. I'm happy to talk to you tonight about what I know about our children's music development, okay? So like librarian Jennifer said, my name's Kayla, and here's a couple just quick things about me. I'm a mommy, I'm a wife, so those are my two kids there. They're 8 and 11. They're my sidekicks in Music Together land. My husband I've been married to for 13 and a half years, and I'm the director of Music Together Beaverton. I've been doing that for about 13 years also. Wow, it's a big year. I'm also a music therapist, and so I've worked with, like Jennifer said, lots of different people, all using music to address a person's goals, okay? And it could be a goal from anywhere from learning the colors of the rainbow to learning to walk again. And so I'm just amazed, I'm continually amazed how music can be a propeller in people's goals in their life. So I also love the Oregon coast. I'm assuming everybody's here from the Oregon area, but maybe not. And if you haven't been to the Oregon coast, check it out when it's safe to go. And then just another fun fact is I love fun socks. I love to wear fun socks. So I have kind of the perfect job for that. I get to wear fun socks. I don't have to wear shoes during my Music Together classes. All right, tonight we're here to talk about our kids and how they are born ready to be music makers, how really we all are built to enjoy, create, and learn music. So normally if we were in person, I would kind of get out a whiteboard or something and we'd make a list of all the things that it took to participate in the song that we just sang, our little welcome song, right? Hey, hey, what do you say? Let's all wave hello today, right? And so I started a list. I'm sure that there's other things that I'm missing. But when we're singing together, you, as a participator in that music making experience, you had to do all of these things. You had to listen. You had to make sense of the notes that I was singing, right? You may have not have heard that song before. You may have, and even if you have, you had to follow what I was doing. I was changing, hey, we're gonna wave now. We're gonna tap our legs now. So you had to use your eyes to watch me. You had to use your ears to listen. You had to use your body to breathe in order to sing and produce sound out your mouth, right? We were singing words. Hey, hey, what do you say? And ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. So there's these fine motor, gross motor things that we are doing. You were attending jointly to two different things, at least two different things. And if you have kids at home, probably 14 different things, right? We were taking turns. That one's not so much now. I would usually, take some ideas from the audience but it was my turn to say, hey, hey, what do you say? And you were listening, right, for the next direction. You were then following directions. So all of that to say that music making is a complex set of skills, right? And it's something that's learned to be able to participate in this. So we're here tonight to talk about our kids, like I said. There's four things that I believe that are true when we talk about children and musicality. And those four things are, one, I believe that all children are musical. That means that all adults are musical too, right? Because we were all born children at one point. We believe that all children can achieve basic music competence. I'll talk about what that means in a little bit. We believe that the you tonight is going to be assuming that you're a parent or a caregiver of a young child, or that you know somebody who is. Your role is important in this music development in your kids. And 4, environment matters. And we'll go a little bit more into depth about all of these things in a little bit, okay? So let's start off with all children are musical. Now some of you might be thinking, really? all children, like everybody, all children are musical. Sometimes my husband is the one that like presses me on that. Really, are you sure? Because he's the one out of the two of us that we'll just say that he has a hard time singing in tune, right? Or moving to an accurate beat. And that all has to do with the environment that he grew up in. Nothing bad or good, it's just what it is. It also has to do with personality. There's lots of things that go into it. But yes, all children are born with the potential to be music makers, okay? We believe that music is a birthright, something that should be taught and learned as easily, and is taught and learned as easily as walking and talking is for kids, okay? We all come equipped, we all are born equipped with the mechanisms to make music. We're all born with a larynx for singing and interacting with sounds in our environment. We're all born, for the most part, right, with limbs to be able to move to music, okay? Babies, did you know that babies respond to tempo changes? They can discriminate between levels of loud and soft, between melody notes and the endings of phrases. They have this startle reflex. Sometimes I'll see when a baby will be in our classes, and when the music starts or stops, they'll jolt. You know, you've seen babies do that, and they do it to music too. You'll see sometimes babies, they'll kick their feet when when a song comes on, or when a caregiver sings to them or interacts musically with them. Babies have all sorts of wonderful musical behaviors. I want to give you, let me go back a little bit. Let me go to this slide and talk about music aptitude versus music achievement. So when we talk about aptitude, music aptitude means like the potential to be a music maker, or to learn music. Most people, I think because of the society we live in, the time that we live in, most people think that you're either born musical or born talented, or you're not. When it's simply not true. I think we live in, I call it American Idol society, although I should probably change that. Maybe it's like The Voice now, or, performance-oriented, heavily performance-oriented environment, society, where we kind of leave the music making to the professionals, where, probably a couple generations ago, that was not the case. I think there were a lot more people out on their front porches making music together. Families gathered around the piano. Not even at, on holidays, but on a nightly basis or a weekly basis. People just made music together. Where now, in general, I think a lot of people are music consumers as opposed to music makers. So that's what the graph on the left, I'm seeing it on the left, says. That's kind of the misconception about music talent. And on the right is the reality that a lot of people, most people are born, 84% in fact, 84% are born with average to high music aptitude, okay? So it's normally distributed around, on a bell curve, where most of us, I'm not saying that most of us are born talented, that's not the same thing, but most of us are born with the ability to learn to sing in tune, and learn to sing in a choir, to be a part of a community band, to take a dance class and enjoy it, right? So when we shift our thinking away from the word talent, I think a lot more can happen in the way of making music, and it just becomes more accessible. All right. La 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 la. We believe also that all children can achieve basic music competence. So those are three big words: basic music competence. The first point, all children are musical, speaks to the aptitude, like I said, the potential And here we're going to talk about the achievement side a little bit. Okay, what is done with that aptitude, what that you're born with. I didn't say this before, but imagine two babies that are born. Baby A is born, everybody, I need to say this, you guys, this is important stuff. Everybody's born with a certain music aptitude, a certain music potential to learn music, okay? Some are born with higher aptitudes than others, but everybody, like I said, is born with average to high music aptitude, okay? So you have two babies, and baby A is born with this much music aptitude, whatever that number is, okay? They're actually born with the same amount. And this baby has parents or caregivers that love music. They're not trained musicians. They just love to sing around the house. They sing when they're changing the baby's diapers. They maybe take a music class. They dance around. They have dance parties, right? Can you imagine this baby growing up between, we'll say, the ages of 0 to 5? That music aptitude is supported, okay? It can grow. It can be heightened, right? But it's supported under here. Baby B, we'll call, is born with the same amount of music aptitude, right? They have parents that they like music, but they don't really sing all the time. They go along in early childhood. They don't really sing a lot. They don't, they're interested in other things. Again, not bad, but they're not interested in music, right? But that music aptitude is not supported. And so when they're, getting on to 5, 6, 7 years old, that music aptitude starts to decline because it's not supported. These are things that you can relate to any. Isn't it intuitive to think that if your gardening aptitude is not developed, then that atrophies too, right? Same with music. Okay, I'll talk about a little bit more about what happens after that window a little bit later, but just remember that aptitude is malleable in the years from 0 to 5. The window for learning basic music competence is open widest between the years birth through 5 years old. Like anything, right? You've heard a lot about, or you probably know a lot about babies' brains and how many millions of neural pathways are being developed, especially in the first 3 years of life, especially in the first 1 year of life, okay? It's pretty amazing. So we just want to saturate them with lots of different things, but of course, musical experiences. Okay, basic music competence means the ability to sing in tune and move accurately to a rhythm. And also, the third point is to enjoy the music of one's culture, okay? If you surround, like I said, that window for music learning is open widest between the ages of 0 to 5. So if you surround a child with music, with a musical environment in those early years, from an early age, and continue to do so throughout early childhood, when there's so many millions of neural pathways being developed, then the chances of achieving basic music competence, being able to sing in tune and move accurately to a beat, they're greater, okay? So how does this development occur? Let's talk about this. Let me go back a little bit, because I know when I'm in a presentation, as soon as I see a list go up, I start reading, but I want to tell you a couple of things first. So think about how our kids learn language. We don't sit a 6-month-old or even an 18-month-old or even a 3-year-old down and say, okay, today we're going to learn how to say the word dada. Tomorrow we're going to work on the word car. We don't do that. That's very silly. We immerse them in in language, right? We talk to them nonstop. We talk to them before they're born, and we don't stop talking to them. We have people talk around them. We talk to them as though they understand what we're saying, right? And eventually, so that we're giving them tools. We're giving them an immersive experience, and we're giving them the tools of sounds, patterns, letters, numbers, words. That combined with the immersive experience, the nonstop immersive experience, they eventually they take all these tools and they put those sounds and those patterns together, and they say ba, 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 and then eventually it turns into ball, ball, and then it eventually turns into my ball. And then they say mama, dada, and then they say why mama, and then they say no for a long time, right? And anyway, they put all those things together. Then they form thoughts, they form sentences, then they form paragraphs. So there's some research out there, and luckily we know generally a timeline on that language development. And luckily for us, our kids develop musically in much a similar way. Okay, so this is how they learn music, or I'm sorry, this is how they learn basic music competence. We immerse them in musical experiences from the time before they're born, ideally, and then we don't stop. We sing to them when we're changing their diapers. We listen to music. We sing while we're driving in the car. We listen to music while we're driving in the car. We have dance parties when there's a meltdown happening. We have a basket of instruments in the playroom or in whatever room of the house, so that it's accessible to them. And we immerse them. We give them tools of music notes, right? We give them tools of patterns of sound, and eventually they'll play with those sounds, and then they'll put those things together. Okay. In the classes that I teach, Music Together, there's like a methodical way that we do this exposure and let them experiment. We do things called tonal patterns, like we'll sing a song, and then at the end of the song we'll go bum 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 in the same key that we had just sung the song in, and we just leave space. We leave space for the parents or the caregivers to model those notes, and for the kids to fill in that space. Okay, not so that they'll perform for us, but just so they'll have those tools to play with and to chew on. So it's so exciting. I get so excited to talking about this, and just knowing that, man, we can teach our kids a love of music and music skills too, just by the same way that we teach our kids to talk. It's so simple, but it's so profound too. All right. This is the stuff I just said. Okay. So look at the language development side. Our kids start by sounding. They'll go ah, 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 and then they'll babble. They'll say ba, 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 then it'll turn into the word ball, right? Phrases with meaning. They'll say my ball. Then they'll say phrases. My ball is blue. My ball mine. Same with on the music development side. They'll start off by saying ba, 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 ba. They'll babble with music. Then they will, maybe they'll finish the phrase of a song, like you're singing twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you, and a little toddler will go ah, right? It could be inaccurate musically, but it's finishing, it's anticipating the end of a phrase. Okay, a baby might, there's the word contours there that I'm seeing. A baby might say, I'll use twinkle twinkle as another example. Twinkle twinkle little star, how I, so you're singing this to your baby. A baby might go ah, so they'll put two notes together and they'll go from high to low, ah, okay, and then eventually they'll fill in the rest. And this timeline is long. I mean, it's years long. Okay, this doesn't happen overnight. This happens with years of exposure and giving them a chance to experiment. All right, this is my favorite one to talk about. The modeling and joyful participation of parents and caregivers is essential to this musical growth. You are important. Okay, I'm gonna say a little bit, and then I have a couple. I'm going to try and do a couple of videos that kind of paint the picture beautifully. So I know what you're thinking. You're either saying, wait, but I can't sing, or you're saying, but I can't move accurately, or am I going to mess my child up in some way? The answer is no. The short answer is no. Okay. I know, especially right now in the world that we're living in right now, there's a lot of not pressure, but there's just a lot for us grown-ups to do, right? We're in charge of we're suddenly in charge of schooling now, and we're in charge of meals and teaching our kids X, Y, and Z. And now, Kayla, you're saying I'm in charge of teaching them music? Well, yes, but it's not as pressuring as it might seem, okay? This is how you do it. You sing to them, you sing to them, you sing to them. You play music for them, okay? You're not teaching them to be a Mozart. You're not teaching them actually to sing in tune. That comes later, okay? You're teaching them to love music. I just have to tell a couple stories. I have this family in my program that she has 3 kids now. They've been coming for a long time, and the mommy doesn't really sing in tune, but she is a joyful participant in all of the classes, and she sent me videos of them making music at home, so I know that it happens at home too. She doesn't sing in tune, but her kids love music. Her kids love to dance. Her kids love to sing, and she doesn't care. She's not hindered by the fact that maybe she doesn't even know that she doesn't sing in tune, and that's okay too, right? Because it's not important that your kids learn to sing in tune from you necessarily. I'll get to that in a second, okay? All right, technical pause. I'm gonna navigate away for a second, and you guys are gonna watch a couple of videos. Now, Jennifer, you just tell me if you can't hear this video, okay? Thank you. So listen, this is a baby that's about 3 months old. She's singing with her mommy, okay? And just watch it.
Your turn to sing. Go ahead. It's pretty good. Do 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 do.
Okay, we could watch that for a long time. I'm just going to keep it here for a second. You guys can still hear me, okay? So there's several things happening. We don't need to dissect the whole thing, but did you see, I mentioned earlier that babies have responses to music. Did you see this baby? She was kicking her legs, and when her mommy was singing and she was listening, she was going with her tongue. She was like singing too, right? She was either responding to the sounds that her mommy was making or trying to imitate what her mommy was doing, okay? All right, here's another video. This actually happens to be the same little girl about a year later.
All around the cobbler's bench, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in fun. Goes the weasel. A penny for a spool thread, a penny for a needle. That's the way the money goes. Goes the weasel. Good job.
You can see that she's obviously a little bit older, and she's a little bit farther down her musical journey. She was anticipating the pop on the Pop Goes the Weasel. She happens to be on the right note too. We don't know if that is accidental or if it was consistent, because we just have this one piece of footage. And I don't know if you heard at the very end, her daddy joined her. She looked over at her daddy. Her mommy was singing with her, but her daddy goes, "Pop goes the weasel," and they all sang together. So it was this fun, cute little family moment. All right, I have one more about 30-second clip to show you, and this one's it's a little bit louder because they're playing instruments, but I want you to just pay attention to what the kids are doing. There's 3 of them. What the kids are doing, they're all different ages, and I think I should say that they're singing Frere Jacques, They're singing it in Spanish, Fray Felipe, Fray Felipe. And then I want you to listen for the mommy. Okay, this is a different family. And Jennifer, tell me if you guys can hear too.
Suenan las campanas, din don dan, din don dan. Suenan las campanas, din don dan, din don dan.
I'm sorry, I didn't start at the beginning. All right, so let me get this back over here. Let me see. Did you happen to hear the mommy singing in the third video with the 3 kids? I don't know if you heard the mommy. So they were singing Fray Felipe in a round at home while they're playing their instruments. Yay! While they're playing their instruments, mommy was not singing in tune. At one point she was singing in minor, which is, it may or may not mean anything to you, but it doesn't matter. The kids were still loving their time together, right? So, I mean, I could say it all day long that let me read something. They say it a lot better than I do. So, in all 3 of the videos, it's important to note that the child is not learning because the parents are somehow musically talented, okay? The mommy in the first videos, she was singing in tune, and I happen to know that she has a degree in music, but her daughter was not learning music because she was singing in tune, right? Same with the kids in the other video. They're not learning music because their mom was singing out of tune. They're learning because they're musically engaged with their grown-up, okay? There's a noted early childhood educator named Lillian Katz, and she observed that children learn skills, knowledge, and dispositions from the adults in their lives. While any adult can help a child acquire skills and knowledge, only those adults with whom the child has the closest emotional bond, parents usually, or primary caregivers, can affect a child's disposition. Okay, a disposition is how you feel about music, what you think about music, right? I can teach children to sing in tune. You know, a child can go and take piano lessons, and it's great that they do, or they can go and learn how to sing in tune, that's fine. But the preparatory work and the foundational work happens before that. It happens when they decide that they like music and they want to play with music. And that happens and can only really be taught on a deep level by a parent or caregiver. Okay, so you guys are super important, and don't let that intimidate you. All you need to do is play with your kids and play with music. Okay. All right, here's the next one. This growth happens best in a playful, musically rich, non-performance oriented environment. This is kind of the essence of our Music Together classes. We provide some structure, but it's a non-performance oriented environment, which means we let our kids be kids, okay? So if they want to wander around, we're in a circle in our classes, we sit on the floor. In our in-person classes, they're not in person right now, but in our in-person classes, if they want to wander around, that's fine. If they want to go sit on another grown-up's lap, that's fine. If they need to sit and seemingly do nothing, that is fine, because we know that kids learn one, in all different ways, but they learn in a musically rich, playful, non-performance oriented environment, okay? kids need to be able to first play with music before they can play music. They need to play with music before they play music, okay? I just look at the clock, Jennifer, and I'm going to rush through to the end. Thank you. What I want to say is there's a spiral. If this picture works well for me, hopefully it works well for you too. There's a spiral that our kids go on of exposure and experimenting, okay? They're exposed to this musical environment, this musical thing, and they need to time to experiment with that, okay? And they come back to it, and they come back to it. It's a spiral, okay? They're exposed to it, they experiment with it. They're exposed to something else, they experiment with it, okay? And it's on their timetable, okay? Another thing about brain development is that, like I said, there's millions and millions and millions of neural pathways being formed in these first few years of life. And the easiest way that, for me, again, to think about it is that it's like these neural pathways are like pathways in the woods, right? The more you walk on a walking trail in the woods, the more accessible it becomes to everybody, okay? So the more they're exposed to these musical experiences, the better that pathway is used, and the more accessible those musical pathways are in the brain for a longer period of time. All right, this next one, it's okay. This next slide, if you want to take a picture of it or something, this is some musical thoughts from child's perspective, okay? It's like a wish list. The first paragraph says, I wish you would sing to me all day long. I wish that you would press your face against mine when we sing. That's what a baby would think. The second paragraph says what a toddler loves to do. I like when we sing when we take a bath. I like when we sing when we go for a walk, things like that. The third paragraph talks about a 3-year-old. They like to try and get things right. They like the sound of the red drum, things like that. And then the bottom one is about a 4-and-a-half-year-old. I love learning exactly how to do a clapping pattern. I love when I get things right according to me. I'm beginning to feel like I need music every day and maybe for the rest of my life. So this is a good thing to leave you with, that our kids want to play with music, okay? They don't care if you're singing in tune. They don't care, but they do care that you are having fun with music. All right? And just really quick, if I forgot anything. All right. Yay. And thank you. Awesome. Now, I don't know, Jennifer, if there's questions or if we have time for questions.
Let me take a look. It looks like we have about 5 minutes. We can probably take 1 or 2 questions. If anyone has a question, you can chat it in the chat window to either me or Kayla, and we'll see what we can do.
Beautiful.
I think there's few enough now if somebody wants to
like unmute and
unmute. Yeah, I can help people unmute if you want to do it that way too.
Yeah, that's fine. I just realized that I couldn't see the chat bar when I was in this screen.
I know, I was watching mine at least.
Yes, good for you. All right. Good. Well, we probably should have ended with a song or something.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. So we do have a question here from Amy. How important is repetition of the same song before you introduce a new one? That's
a good question. Repetition is good. Repetition is good. Repetition is good. Repetition is good. It's one of our like hallmark sayings in the music together world. Repetition is good, because we know kids everybody learns through repetition. However, but I'll use the word and keeping things novel is also a good thing too. So repetition, yes, is important, but so is, I should say, don't worry about repeating things at X amount of times before you move on to something else, because our kids learn through immersion, music through immersion. It's okay to just immerse them in a little bit of everything. You can come back to whatever you want to have repeated, but keep immersing them in all sorts of things. Yeah, that's a good question. Right. Okay.
I should have been thinking of questions for myself.
That's okay. You know, a question I always get, and I said it, I try to nip it in the presentation is what if I can't sing in tune? Or what if I don't think of, maybe I should say it in a way, what if I don't think of myself as a music maker or talented, or will I wreck my child? That's another question that we get a lot is, and I'll say it again, is I'm more of an expert in the birth through 5-year-old window, and my expertise is teaching kids a love of music, and that's what this time frame is about, this foundational love of music. And so when they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and they have an opportunity to play an instrument, learn an instrument, you know, take piano lessons, sing in a choir, they'll have hopefully musical memories, happy musical memories, ones that were filled with, oh, I remember we used to climb in this laundry basket and sing this really silly song about horses. And I remember we would have dance party all the time. So their musical memories, their foundation is laid, and it's a positive one. So they choose to love music. Whether they choose to pursue music professionally or whatever, that's not important. It's not important right now. So no, you can't wreck your child, because they can learn skills and knowledge from any adult. They can learn a disposition from you.
So we do have a follow-up question of what can an adult do if they cannot carry a tune? Can they learn how to carry a tune later in life?
They can. It's a lot harder though. I don't have any research right now that said, I mean, you know, in my knowledge that says, you know, you do X, Y, and Z. Like I said, my husband is that person who is, just has a different musical upbringing than I did, and different interests. And so I will say that, you know, I've been teaching music together for 13 years, and since we've gotten married and had children, obviously, too. And he came to all of the music together classes for about 6 or 7 years, and he still doesn't sing in tune, but he has come a long way, and he can kind of get the shape of a melody. So yes, all that to say, it's possible. I think it's just surrounding yourself with music, with maybe some live music. It would be great if you know, singing together with other people at a church or a community choir or things like that would be helpful too. Good.
Yeah. Thank you, Kayla. And I think we'll get started to wrap up right now. I want to give a big thanks to Kayla Hughes of Music Together Beaverton for being here tonight and sharing all these great things with us. And I'd like to invite all of you to join us for our final Parent Education Night series, happening not this coming Monday because that's Memorial Day, but the Monday after, on June 1st. We're going to have something called Simplicity Parenting with Dr. Kathy Masari, and I'm very excited for that. All about simplifying our parenting, which is something I could use right now. So I hope you can too. That will be, yeah. Kayla, put that on your calendar too. Yeah.
Exactly.
That will be Monday, June 1st at 7 o'clock, and you can find out more at beavertonlibrary.org/parents. And in a week or so, a recording of this presentation will be up there as well. And Kayla, would you mind if we put your slides up as well?
Sure.
Yeah, because so you can send those to me and we'll get them up in the next few days.
Okay.
And that will be at beavertonlibrary.org/parents. All right. So thank you, Kayla. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. All right.